Today we're taking a look at a GMT that could be one of the best everyday GMTs that money could buy. It doesn't have a groundbreaking design. It's not the most exciting watch that you've ever seen. However, it's extremely solid. It's really well made and of course, extremely functional. It is perfect for every day. It's really ready for almost any occasion. This is the Zulu time from Longines. It was pretty big news when they released this watch about 2 years ago. It's a traveler's GMT, comes in at around 42 millimeters, and it is very good looking. It's just a very handsome watch. It's nothing too crazy, but it's perfect for every day. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the Longines Spirit Zulu time in 42 millimeters. Longines as a brand, I think, are on fire. Every time they come out with a new watch, there is something about it that I find attractive. When they came out this watch, obviously you have a traveler's GMT movement. It's based on the 2892, so it's a little bit higher end of a GMT movement. And it is a traveler's GMT, so that is somewhat desirable. This is sort of a really good alternative to a GMT-Master, which I know a lot of people say. However, it is really a very good alternative to one of those higher end, even from Grand Seiko, that cost in the $5,000 to $10,000 range GMTs. This costs around $3,000. This specific model is actually lent into the channel from exquisitetimepieces.com. They have this watch in stock. They have tons of other brands as well. They're an AD for tons of brands. So definitely check out their website if you are interested in this watch or really any watch. They also have a brick and mortar store down in Naples, Florida. Doesn't matter if you're visiting their website. If you end up purchasing something, tell them Watch Chris sent you. This is the 42 millimeter version. They just recently came out with a smaller version in around 38 millimeters, I want to say. But I am very surprised at how nice this is proportioned, this 42 millimeter version. It's basically the same as this watch. So this is a stainless steel case, obviously stainless steel bracelet with a really nice on-the-fly release of the end link here. So there's a button here. It's very similar to what you get from something like Cartier. My Cartier actually has a very similar system. So the bracelet's really nice. You get a black dial that is very similar to the Spirit. So I believe this is in the Spirit line. So you're getting that black matte dial with that line of polish, that metallic polish that goes around where that minute track is. And then inboard of that, you have the hour track. So those are the applied indices that you have on this dial. Those are filled with lume. There's also a little diamond behind each one of those indices, and that is also lumed. You have lume in the fence post hands, and then you have lume in the GMT hand. That is the blue hand right there. And there's a little bit of lume on a diamond at the end of the second hand. It's sort of like an arrow. Like I said, this is 42 millimeters. At the bezel, it measures basically 42 millimeters. I've measured it a few times, so it comes out to around 42 millimeters at the bezel. At the case, it's just under 42 millimeters. So it doesn't wear like a large 42 millimeter. It probably wears spot on at 42 millimeters. It's a ceramic bezel, so you have a ceramic bezel insert, screwed in crown, screwed in case back, 100 meters of water resistance. You have a date there at the 6 o'clock. It basically blends in with the dial. So it's there when you want to see it. It's not when you don't. You have an applied logo, and then you have the applied stars down at the bottom of the dial. And it is chronometer certified as well at that, I think it's around $3,150 price point. So considering all that you're getting in this watch, that $3,100 price tag doesn't seem unreasonable. This is COSC certified, is the L844.4. It is a traveler's GMT. So basically all that means is when you unwind the crown or unscrew the crown, excuse me, it will pop out. And in the first position, when you pull it out, it will not hack. And then you can adjust the hour hand. That is the local hour hand, which is really handy for when you are traveling between multiple time zones. Even a single time zone, it's very, very helpful. Then when you pull it all the way out, it will hack, and then you can adjust the minute hand. and then you can adjust the time as well. Screwing in the crown and you get 100 meters of water resistance. Everything on here feels premium and really nicely made. The crown feels very, very solid and very smooth. So there you go. The bezel is bi-directional, and I believe it is a 60-click bezel, as you can see. So it feels pretty good, very, very solid, and it does not move. The clicks aren't so great, but it is a bi-directional bezel, so that's something to keep in mind. Usually bi-directional bezels, not as good as a ratcheting dive bezel, but this one feels really nice and obviously high quality. Bracelet on here is really nice. It's sort of an oyster style bracelet. It kind of reminds me of something that you would get from Grand Seiko. You have these two lines of polish that go down the center of the bracelet, or the mid link, and then you have polishing on the side. You do have pin and collar system, and then there is the buckle. The buckle is signed Longines right there. You do have 5 positions of micro adjust. It's not on the fly micro adjust, so I do wish it was. It's a nice buckle, but it definitely could be a little bit nicer, especially at this price point, but I think it's definitely functional and it looks really good as well. You have a screwed-in case back. It's held in with screws. As I mentioned, you get 100 meters of water resistance. Very nice case back on here, and very easy to remove the strap. There is a button right here on the underside of the end link. All you need to do is press that button in with your fingernail. It comes right out, and you can put it right back on. So this is good for changing into straps if you want to remove the bracelet, put on a NATO strap, because I believe this also comes on a NATO strap and a leather strap. So if you decide to buy those along with the bracelet, I definitely recommend the bracelet because I do think it is pretty nice. Slab-sided, so you can see that this was sort of Longines' answer to the Black Bay when it came out. So you have these sort of slab sides on the watch. It looks really good. You have a very nice edge of polish on the top, and then it's very nicely finished on the bottom. So really nicely overall finished watch. I always say this about Longines in general. They do great job with their finishing. I would say it's on par, or almost on par, with the likes of Grand Seiko. In my opinion, a lot of their finishing is excellent on their watches. And I think they're completely underrated in a lot of ways. Today I have on Reuter watches. This is a watch that I've been wearing over the past few days. I absolutely love this watch. Whenever I wear it, I just am happy about it because obviously I am friends with Dan Reuter. If you guys follow me, you know that I'm pretty good friends with him. And I just love his watch, and he's just a great guy. So, it's awesome to own one, and I really love the watch. There it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. This is a 42 millimeter watch. Basically, if you are measuring bezel, it's a little bit smaller than that at the case. You have a 48.6 millimeter lug to lug. That is at the actual case. At the bracelet, it's a little bit bigger than that because you have these male end links and they do hang over pretty far. So it's around a 55 millimeter lug span, including that. And then you have about a 6.5 millimeter crown. The thickness is 14 millimeters. However, that is including the domed sapphire crystal, and you can see it's actually pretty domed, so that does add to the thickness. But you can see on my 7.5-inch wrist, it does wear really nicely, and I think it looks just at home. I think the 38 millimeter or 39 millimeter version might look a little bit small on me. However, I definitely want to try out that watch before I make a decision between the two, because I do want to buy one of these eventually, but I want to see that smaller version before I make that decision. Well, there you go. It's decently lumed. The indices are pretty liberally applied with lume. So are the hands. The hands are actually pretty bright. You have a little bit of lume on that second hand. It's just a little triangle, or actually a diamond. So that's lumed. And then you also have the GMT hand. That is lumed. That's right by the 10 o'clock right now. And then you also have the bezel. The bezel is lumed right there on that triangle to give you orientation in the dark. All in all, I think this is a very good looking watch, and it's obviously very functional. So this is a great everyday travel watch with 100 meters of water resistance. You have that screwed in crown, screwed in case back. It's automatic. It's a Traveler's GMT. It has an ETA movement technically inside, which is sort of proprietary to the brand. So Very easy to get fixed as well. You have a ceramic bezel. All of that for around $3,000, just over $3,000. I think the versions on a strap are under $3,000, I want to say, or just at $3,000. That is excellent. And this looks really good on a strap as well. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. This could be the best all-around luxury GMT. It's sort of an entry-level luxury GMT. Maybe on the higher end of entry level, but definitely somewhere when compared to other Travelers GMTs, I think this is somewhere on that scale. But tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of Longines? What do you think of what they've been doing over the past few years? They keep on coming out with amazing watches, in my opinion. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. And that's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. I will catch you guys in the next video.